The dull thud did nothing to prepare her for the explosion of pain that ricocheted through her skull as her head bounced off a brick wall. Her desperate cry for help went unnoticed. His grip tightened on her throat and threatened to close off her airway. It took Madison a moment to become oriented, but one thought carried through with severe clarity: no one should die in an alley surrounded by cardboard boxes and trash. The raw stench of sewage brought bile up to her mouth. In a last-ditch effort to free herself, she swung her knee up high with all her strength and prayed for impact. His grunt satisfied her far more than even the richest Swiss chocolate. His hand relaxed around her neck, and she used the opportunity to make her escape. She wrenched herself from his grasp, pushed against his chest hard, and made a run for safety. After 2 full steps, her head erupted in pain once more as he yanked her toward him by her hair. Her arms flailed wildly as she tried to find her balance.
"You ain't going nowhere,"
said her assailant. He turned her around and shoved her back up against the wall. "My wallet is in the purse. Please take it and let me go," Madison whispered, her voice cracked because of the pressure he put on her throat. Her mind raced as she tried to take in her surroundings. He ignored her petty offering while he stared at her with unabashed lust. The leer sent a wave of horror through her. Whether with disgust or a concussion, her stomach heaved up its contents, and she threw up in the narrow space between their bodies and left neither untouched.
"Now I'm going to have to clean you up first,"
he said with no small amount of repugnance. "Please, let me go," Madison begged. She hated the sound of her own weakness but couldn't stand the thought of anything her imagination produced after the look of anticipation in his eyes. Her mind flashed to a news report she'd caught the tail end of and realized if she didn't think fast, she'd die in this alley at the hands of a monster who'd killed before. She chose not to question the intuition that told her the man would murder her. She took a mental inventory and wondered how she'd escape with a pack of breath mints and a set of keys. Think, damn it. No one had to die tonight. Madison turned away, just a small movement, enough to slide her hand over the would-be weapon in her pocket. She covered her mouth with her palm. With a few gagging sounds from the base of her throat and a prayer she didn't throw up again, she did her best to hide her actions. He glared at her with disgust but appeared to have no interest in the movement of her hand as it slipped into the folds of fabric. She maneuvered the ring between her fingers, one key in the web of each, and tightened her grip around the keys. If this worked, she swore she'd finish the self-defense course her father made her take. Sweat slid along her face as she gathered the strength to make her escape. She took 2 quick breaths and flung her wrist out. She launched her arm wide, gained the full momentum of her body weight, and smashed the tiny metal teeth into his cheek. Like little daggers, they found their mark. As she pulled away from him, the keys dragged down the length of his face, leaving 3 angry red welts that glistened with beaded blood. In shock, she stared at the damage she wrought on his skin before her survival instinct took over. Madison burst into action, determined to get away from her attacker. She glanced back often to see if he pursued her. Each time she thought she caught sight of him, she changed directions in the hopes of escaping. She couldn't lead him to her home, and the police station was on the other side of town. The streets never looked as desolate as they did right then. No shop windows illuminated her path, or a soul for her to cry out to. Madison ran on adrenaline until she found herself at someone's house. Like magic, the gate swung open. She didn't even stop to make sure it closed. Her breath came out in short bursts as she fought her way to the front door. What if they weren't home? Good Lord, don't let her have found a house abandoned by early-hour workers. Madison turned to look toward the entrance, and her gaze rested upon him. "Oh God, please, somebody help me." She screamed and pounded against the frame with all the strength she possessed. As if in answer to her prayers, it swung opened.
"What the devil?"
She leaped forward, driven by the primal need to get away from the man who stalked her. In her quest for protection, she pushed past the person behind the door and slammed the heavy wooden barrier closed. Her fingers searched for the lock and bolted it into place. She pressed her body to the solid wood between her and danger before she rested to catch her breath. Though she didn't know the homeowner in front of her, he had to be safer than the madman outside. With a deep shudder, she let her gaze travel over the one who offered her sanctuary. His narrowed eyes and tight mouth indicated he was not nearly as happy to see her as she was him.
"Who are you?"
The man demanded. The edges of her vision began to erode. Madison blinked and tried to no avail to clear her sight. Even as she told herself she shouldn't pass out, she slid to the floor and into the welcoming embrace of darkness.